How's it going, everyone? Welcome back. Hope everyone's having a lovely day. We have more NFL signings extensions news. Now Myles Garrett coming into the mix. $40 million a year. Signing a contract that we can only believe is going to impact the Trey Hendrick situation with the Cincinnati Bengals. And you look at that contract, just again, speculation, pure speculation. We got to be mindful of that. That's what, I mean, technically, that's what a lot of this whole video is going to be. That's what a lot of sports is. You're speculating what, this player actually wanted, what this player's conversations was, what the management, what the ownership said to that player. Did the ownership want to sign with that player, right? Sign that player down? Did that player truly want to sign this year, or did they want to wait and play that fifth year? Jamar Chase's situation. Did he want to bet on himself? Was it just a publicity thing? We don't know for sure. Sounded pretty sure like Jamar Chase would have been a guy that taken his money last year. He just wanted more than Jefferson. That's all he's waiting for, as far as we got from reports and everything. But we never know. And the reason we say everything's speculation is because, personally, I think that Myles Garrett contract is very, very overpaid. And the reason I think it's overpaid is because I think we've seen Myles Garrett say, hey, I want to leave. I want to play for a contender. I want to be traded. And the Browns kind of said, hey, how much money? You don't want to play here, but how much money is too much money to turn down? As I call it, you almost blank checked them. I said, right, fill the check out. What's too much to turn down? And we will sign you for that money. And Myles Garrett said $40 million, and they said done. Because yeah, Myles Garrett is a generational player, but Myles Garrett is much like Trey Hendrickson. Round 30, pushing 30s. His contract now, more importantly, is going to expire in his mid-30s. Looking about 35 years old, he's going to be getting $40 million a year. That is a lot of money for a guy in his 30s, specifically a pass rusher, because pass rushers typically decline 31, 32, 33 range, so they don't usually get those deep contracts. The contract he currently had set up was actually a good one, to where you would probably see potentially a little bit of decline. And then they lowered the next price tag because of how much, or because of that age, because of that slight decline. But instead, the Browns said, hey, you're never going to get $40 million a year deep into your 30s anywhere. Life-changing money, take the contract. And Myles Garrett says, absolutely. I could be completely wrong. Could be way off base. And Myles Garrett could have gotten that from anybody. It's whatever a team's willing to pay. But at the end of the day, the reason it's so important is because he took that contract, no matter if it was an overpayment or not. Now he set the market. Now Trey Hendrickson can stop and say, hey, hang on a second. The number one thing you're worried about over here in Cincinnati is my age, because the Browns just paid a guy $40 million a year into his 30s. Again, I know we're not talking Myles Garrett's age now. We're talking when a contract is starting to mature a little bit, getting close to the end. So Trey Hendrickson can use that as a lot of leverage. Trey Hendrickson can now say, hey, I just led the league in sacks. Best pass rusher in the league. Statistics back it up. I definitely think I can get 35, 30. And I don't know where Trey Hendrickson's numbers truly are. But I do know one thing. And that is, historically, now that the Cincinnati Bengals have a knack for waiting things out and it costing them money. Again, we talked about it earlier. Speculation. Technically, we could speculate and say it's always the Bengals front office's fault for not signing these guys early on, and they franchise tag them. They wait till their final year expires. We could say it's the Bengals' fault. We could be wrong, but the fact that it has happened to literally every single star player over the last 10, 15 years, it leads you to believe this is the way the Cincinnati Bengals do business. Because a lot of people now are starting to notice, like, oh wow, if you would have signed Jamar Chase last season, all he won was more than Justin Jefferson, $36 million a year. Then instead of owing him 40 this year, you owed him $36 million right off the top, $4 million in savings every single year on his contract. Now that Garrett's getting that money, and Duke Tobin already said he's going to make Jamar Chase the highest paid player that's not a quarterback in the league, now he might get 41. As crazy as that sounds. Kind of stuck the foot in the mouth, didn't sign the man right away. They're waiting again, letting other players set the market for them instead of getting ahead of the 8 ball. T. Higgins. Do I think T. Higgins would have taken $25 million a year before the franchise tag year, after his year 3? Remember, players after finishing their 3rd year can start negotiating into that final year of their contract. At the time, T. Higgins would have been offered $25 million a year over 4 years. That would have made him the 5th highest paid wide receiver in the league. Behind guys like Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, Cooper Kupp. I think he would have been okay with that, being a guy that in his career never finished, still has never. I get it. I get the talent. I get the injuries. I get what he is to this team. But you have to remember, the statistics don't lie. At the end of the day, this man has never finished inside the top 10 in the league in receiving yards. Think about that. Or not even top 15. Think about that. His entire career has never finished in the top 15. Love T. Higgins, great player. But to think he wouldn't take that kind of money with that kind of performance. Again, the injury is impactful. I would be shocked to believe that, especially behind those players. And now you're looking T. Higgins, we're talking $30 million a year to keep him around. $5 million more in savings. Maybe more than $30 million. The cap keeps going up. If he hits free agency, they might be paying him more than that. They bet on it, especially if the Bengals make him play out this franchise tag. He actually stays healthy this season. And he goes out there and puts up 1,400 yards. Yeah, he's going to get 33, 34, maybe 35. We got to remember the cap keeps going up. It sounds crazy now. Cap keeps going up. A player's worth what a team's willing to pay him. Somebody's got that kind of cap space for him, they're going to send him the money. But we'll say 30. Now we're at $5 million in cap savings for him. Probably $4 to $5 million in Jamar Chase. We're up to $9 to $10 million. Do we want to go back to Jesse Bates? Jesse Bates is a little bit hairier. We'll go back to him in a different regard, I guess. How about Joe Burrow? We ain't talked about Joe Burrow in a while. Joe Burrow. Remember, the Bengals wanted to wait until September to extend Joe Burrow. If they signed him in March, the highest paid quarterback in the league, Joe Burrow, $51 million a year. Maybe they gave him 52, gave him a couple extra. But instead, they waited on Jalen Hurts to become the highest paid quarterback in the league. They waited on Justin Herbert to become the highest paid quarterback in the league. And then they signed Joe Burrow after two other guys set the market higher. Then they had to make Joe Burrow the highest paid quarterback in the league based off of those two raising the bar. And again, you could say maybe it's the players, but come on. Is every player that's not in a Bengals uniform willing to sign and set that bar early on in the offseason except for Bengals players? I find that hard to believe. Again, $4 more million in cap savings. We're closing in on 13 to 15 million in cap savings, which ironically enough, I said we'd bring the Jesse Bates thing up. Ironically enough, is enough to almost get a Jesse Bates. He signed 16 million a year. Trey Hendrickson. Last season, right? They tacked on that extra million. Or not extra million, extra 21 million for a year. Fifth highest paid player. At the time when he took that contract extension, made him the fifth highest paid player at his position. If you tack on one more year at that same price, then he's paid one more year. Then he's paid to that he's got 2 years left in this deal. Maybe he's a little bit more happy. And maybe the Bengals again save. I don't know where the Trey Hendrickson market is right now. I really don't. The rumors are all over the place. The Bengals lowballed him at 23. The Bengals gave him 30 to 32. Trey turned them both down. We'll only see and tell. I think the Trey Hendrickson one's a lot more hairy. It's a lot stickier. Without question, if the Bengals extended for an extra year or two, they're saving money. The question is, did the Bengals want that? Do they want that now? Or are they worried about, again, that age 32, age 33 years? They're worried about those years. It's hard to tell. But we can see without question, if even erasing Trey Hendrickson, is the Bengals waiting has done nothing but hurt them. And I really thought after the Joe Burrow experience, they was going to learn and say, hey, when we have talent, we have to lock them down now. There was no point in time that anybody ever questioned the Bengals were going to extend Joe Burrow. So why would you wait? That would be the question I had for the front office. They waited. They learned their lesson. No. There's not a shadow of doubt in my mind that they were going to extend Jamar Chase. Why are they waiting? Even last year, maybe you throw him 37. You're like, that's a lot. Okay, the cap's going to go up year after year. At the time, though, it looks like a lot, but now he wants 40. Imagine he plays it out and gets more. Jeez. To me, it's crazy. Because every other team seems to get it. Like, look at the Eagles, Super Bowl winners, signing guys left and right. They're like, dang, look at this team. I wonder where they're getting all the money from. But they know one thing: we're gonna pay them right now because 4 months from now they're gonna be worth more than that. Season hasn't even started; they're gonna be worth more than that. They players because the market keeps getting reset. And I just hope one day somebody in that Bengals front office and that organization starts to see that, because again, we're literally talking savings right now on this team. That is enough to get you a quality guard. at a position in need, to think a whole nother player essentially free just because you was aggressive in signing your players and not waiting things out. No other reason. Nonetheless, love y'all's thoughts. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.